So,
Oh, okay.
okay, I
Okay.
started recording. So let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
So, the first quadrant is the one called essence or soul. This is the one that will tell us who you are and who you have been in every lifetime. So this number
Okay.
doesn't change. It's not supposed to change throughout lifetimes. And I will get more into it. I'll just explain the rest of the quadrants. The second one is the karma. Karma are the things that you are coming here to correct. These are things that weren't resolved in other past lives. And this quadrant will show who you are on the outside. This is how people may perceive you. This is who they think you are. But um okay, we'll get into it.
Mhm.
The third quadrant where it says gift, this is these are the gifts or the skills that God gave you for this lifetime. And these are basically like ingredients for your purpose or for your mission. They're tools. And you may hear things that you recognize in yourself, and you may hear things that you don't recognize. The fact that you don't recognize them doesn't mean that you don't have them. It just means that perhaps you haven't used them yet, or you haven't opened those gifts. Now the fourth quadrant is the most complicated one to understand, but if you notice, it says mastery 70%. What this means is that in past lives, you have managed to master up to 70% of that number, and I'll explain what that is. And then the other 30% are things that you're still coming here to correct and resolve. And finally, the number inside the circle will be your mission or purpose for this lifetime. So let's start with your essence and your soul. So yes, you do have an interesting repetition of numbers. I must say, um, I know this date very well because 11/11 was my wedding date. I'm not married anymore, but that was my wedding date
Oh
in
my God.
2006 though.
Oh
So
my God.
I know that I had my numerology done in the past, and so I'm familiar with the 11.
Oh,
And the 11, so okay, so we have all the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we have master numbers, which are 11, 22, and 33. The master numbers, what it means is that they're highly spiritual. And also, this, if you have one of these numbers, it means that in another life, we don't know which one, but in another life, you already achieved consciousness, or let's call it enlightenment, although I'm not talking about the enlightenment that Buddha had, because that's on another level, but you did reach a certain consciousness and you learn so much, and you have all that knowledge inside of you. You just may not remember. But you are able to actually awaken consciousness in others. And it's also very possible that you do have um like a very strong intuition. I don't know if that's your experience or not, but so let me go to number 11 for soul. And here I have okay, so first of all, if you see, you have 11/11. This is called mirror people. What this means is that you reflect, you have 11 in your soul and 11 in your karma, that means that your interior and your exterior are the same. So which means is you're a transparent person. You can't really hide lots of secrets. It just shows on you. You don't have to fake or anything like that. You're just transparent. Sometimes when you have a difference in numbers, which is the most common thing I see, you have a soul that is one way, and then you have a personality that is a different way. So in your case, they're similar. And so what's good is that you already have inside of you what you need to resolve that karma. We're going to talk in depth right now about the number 11. So number 11, again, is a number of awakening consciousness and enlightenment. The number 11, they're such nice people, very, like they won't leave anyone behind. It's like, I'll wait for you. And then, yes, you can do it. They're very, sorry if I stumble upon my words, but it's just me translating because my notes are in Spanish. So,
Oh, I speak Spanish too if you want to go back
oh,
and forth.
really?
Like,
Like
yeah,
fully?
los dos.
Ah,
Uh,
okay, perfect.
casi todo unas palabras. No sé por qué I was born here, but
Okay.
yeah, I speak Spanish with my parents. So.
Okay, that'll make it easier.
Yeah,
And if you
yeah.
need to go back to English, then let me know.
Okay.
Sí, ok. Entonces, el número 11 es el despertar de la conciencia.
Mm-hmm.
Gente muy linda, te esperan, no te van a dejar atrás. eh, este, motivan mucho a la gente. Sí, tú puedes, yo sé que tú puedes hacerlo. Tienen una intuición muy alta, al punto de que pueden ser videntes. You know vidente, right?
Mm-hmm. Like a sale,
Like a psychic, but
mm-hmm.
people that can see ahead or maybe to the past. The point is that you
Mm-hmm.
have a higher, see, I went back to English. You have a high um um intuition and psychic abilities.
Mm-hmm.
El número 11 tiene la sabiduría del maestro. So, el número 11 puede elevar la conciencia del prójimo. Tienes la habilidad de elevar la conciencia de otros. It could be, I know you're an artist, so it could be through your art, it could be through your friendship, it could be just through your own meditations, things that you resolve in your head, things that you, how can I say this? Let me come back to this. You don't care about everybody else's opinion. Now, remember that this is your interior self, right? So, if you were to care about somebody else's opinion, doesn't mean that, I'll tell you why that is, but in your purest state, you're intuitive, you're compassionate, you tend to be the one that will reconcile people. If people are having trouble, you may be the one that puts herself in the middle and or will try to resolve all the problems. You have a lot of integrity, very calm, very like grounded. And things come to you, whether it's information or whether it's actual things that happen. Let's say you're um looking for an opportunity, it comes to you. It eventually somehow arrives. You're very much a dreamer and a visionary. That's the word I was looking for. Visionary, that you see ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
And muy talentosa, muy talentosa. Y tienes una habilidad muy especial para percibir la vida, para percibir el cosmos. Like, it's almost like you have a very rich interior life, whether it's in your mind or in your heart, but you're not shallow. Let's put it that way. So el número 11 es capaz de sentir la energía crística, meaning Christ's energy. What does that mean? So that means that you're able to recognize spiritual lessons and follow them without questioning them, without constantly trying to contradict them or prove them wrong or anything like that. So anywhere where you will find a spiritual lesson, you'll be able to take it in and learn from it. The other thing is that you're able to conserve your humility. This is your soul. Your soul is humble, and your soul looks for spiritual perfection by working, by benefiting others. So that could mean charity. That could mean just being very. Esto puede significar que tú eres íntegra. You know what that means? Like in alignment. You are not,
Mm,
you don't say one thing and do another. You're in
ujú,
alignment. And so that spiritual perfection that you are looking for can be achieved by either helping others or just being in alignment with yourself so that you can affect others or benefit others around you. You learn a lot through contact with other masters or other teachers. You're
ujú.
not one of those people that will, again, reject, question, doubt. No, I'm the one that's right. I don't have anything to learn. It's more like you actually recognize what you can learn from others and you accept it. Um, Imaginative, very creative, very original, and an artist, basically. Number 11 tends to go to the arts and to creativity. And they're very honest. Um, your soul has the certainty that everything comes from God and everything returns to God. Whatever God you follow, or whatever, I'm not gonna say religion, but spiritual path that you follow, the soul has that certainty already, even if you in your waking hours may not be. And I don't know if you are or not. I'm just saying, if you in your life have not had certainty before, your soul does. And your soul knows that your soul knows how big it is because it is in constant connection with divinity. It doesn't disconnect, it doesn't unplug. For you, in your pure best self, let's say it like that, money will, you won't lack money or material things. If you do, I'll tell you later why that is. um so what happens with the number 11 is that if the number 11 surrenders to a spiritual, um either belief or to I'll say God. I hesitate a lot because people are not used to it, but if you surrender to God, um you can be representative of God, and you can become a master in this lifetime. So you can teach others. You will It will be easy for you to teach others about spirituality or about your beliefs, because again, you have that constant connection with the divine. You have a powerful number. Your presence reminds others of God's existence. These are all souls. They are not going to criticize. other people or judge in their most heightened state or their best state, they will love people no matter what. There's an unconditional love there. I mean, you do have
Mm.
this little bit of this Christ energy. So and finally, yes, there may be a lot of movement in your life in terms of tests and challenges, and that is normal because with power also comes, you know, challenges.
Why? Yeah.
Yes. So this is a not to say that one number is better than the other, but this is actually a very beautiful number to have as your essence and your soul. So the thing is that here you also have 11 as your karma. So let me remind you again what the karma is, because it's not just, karma is not a punishment or something that haunts you through your lives and is like this negative thing. What it means is that um you will, the negative aspect of the number 11, these are the challenges that you're going to have in your life. These are things that weren't resolved that you came to correct. And this is what people may see from you. If they don't get to see the beautiful parts that are inside, this is what they might see. So I'm going to say a lot of really maybe negative, harsh words. But if anything resonates with you, just pay attention to it and note it as, something for you to later go and think about and see where this manifests in your life. So here we go, because it's rough. The number 11, it's rough in its negative state. So the number one thing is that they are afraid to admit their own powers. They don't want to see their own light. They are very psychic, but they are afraid of what they might see in their dreams or sometimes in their intuition. I mean, I don't know if you actively try to work on your intuition, but um, it's possible that sometimes you're afraid to choose the option that it's the correct one, but it's like, I don't know, because so that fear, it's part of this.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. That makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
So so here are the harsh words. The number 11 may be very ambitious and want to show off their money or their accumulation of goods. They can be conflictive. They can be very non-conforming, but in a negative way. Like they're never happy with this or with that. They just won't conform. In their negative way, they'll be the opposite of conscious, which is they won't be aware. They might not be aware of anything. They might not be aware of their own self, aware of others. They can become very selfish and frustrated, very materialistic, vain. I think I already said, no, I haven't said greedy. Greedy is the word. They can lose their connection with a divinity and then have zero connection with their intuition. They can become very dependent of others or make themselves the victim of situations. They have also a need for approval. They can be unstable physically, mentally, and emotionally. They are able to become fanatics of, if they follow a certain belief system, they can become very like, all right, I'll do everything and I'll ignore everything else. And yeah, that is not good, because then you're not open to everything that the world has to offer. Um, they might block their own energy or their own connection with the divine. So sometimes what happens with number 11 is that, you know how I said that in the positive you can be grounded? Well, in the negative you can actually be completely not grounded. And that means that you won't have very clear goals or objectives in life. And so also with that on grounding comes the belief that they are superior, or they may not want to have a teacher or somebody that guide them because they think that I know how things are, I don't need anyone else. And so they'll be closed to having guidance. So this is a very important thing. It is the difficulty to balance spirituality with matter. So they may find themselves either being zero, like cero espirituales. They will tend to be more materialistic, more attached to earthly things, and forget about God, forget about their soul, forget about their intuition, their connection with the divinity. Or it's the opposite. They will be extremely spiritual but completely forget their earthly, we still have to work and pay bills and do all this stuff. So one of the challenges for you in your karma is to balance those things out, to don't go one way or another. One way is also, for example, worrying too much about, oh my God, the future. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? How are we going to have money for this? How are we going to pay for that? And then you completely forget about your connection with God. Or the opposite, God, I'll be in church every day, and then you completely neglect your day-to-day life. So that balance is very important for your number. The other negative aspect is that number 11 won't accept God as their provider. And so that's why they're always worried about scarcity and poverty or lacking. So again, that balance is going to be important for that. Another aspect of the number 11 is that they are able to destroy those who they love. And usually they're convinced that they're doing something out of love, and it turns out that they just end up damaging the other person because they are not being aware of exactly what they're doing or their intentions. So when you don't pay attention and don't correct these things, they will accumulate more karma. So the more you neglect them, the more they will keep coming back, nagging you until you do. That is why the number 11, that's the power of it, is that the way you are powerful in being intuitive and having that connection with the divine is the same way that if you don't correct the things that you came to correct, it will just keep accumulating and harming you more than usual. The way to redeem yourself, if you were to still be caught up in this negative aspect of the number 11, is through charity work, connecting with others, helping others. I'm not saying just charity like go volunteer. I mean, yes, you can do that, but just in your day-to-day life, the way you relate to others and help them out is definitely a way to compensate for those maybe those challenges that have not been able to be resolved. And by the way, it takes us our whole lives to resolve karma. So it's not necessarily something that you can get done in a year or two.
Okay.
First, we have to be aware of it, and then
Okay.
we have to learn how to spot it in our day-to-day lives, and then be able to fix it. What else can I tell you about karma? Yes, so there could be a lot of pueden ser muy escépticos los números 11 en su aspecto negativo, en el punto en el que no confían en sí mismos. I mean, their own
Mm-hmm.
powers, they just don't trust them. And so they would rather be under somebody else's shadow than find their own divinity themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And one way that you might be put to the test is by attachments. So if it's really hard for you to let someone go or let something go, and it just troubles you to no end with when something ends or when something changes, then that's part of this. That is part of this challenge that you will have throughout your life. Um, okay, so let's recap. Do you have any questions until up until now?
No, I've been also taking like word notes of the big things that stood out to me, and I think my I don't know if you could delve deeper later maybe or now the if there's like a specificity in like the charity work, the day to day that you met.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah,
So it's just that usually when I mention charity, then people
yeah.
think that it's like go volunteer at a soup kitchen, which yes, it can be, and it would
Mm-hmm.
be really, really good. But when it comes to your life, it just means if somebody needs you to listen, listen. If somebody needs you to help them with some task with no reward for you, help them. Just
Mm-hmm.
find the ways where you can give others without expecting anything back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that creates good karma in you,
Mm-hmm.
especially
Okay.
when if you keep failing at resolving some of these issues, then putting your attention in others is what resolves some of that karma.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. And okay, so let me just here make sure I said everything. I know there was another part I wanted to touch on. Yes, okay. So 1111. I love that number. Um, when you have repeated 11s, you have to be very careful with your thoughts. You have to make sure that you're only thinking about what you want and what you wish, and not what you don't want or what you don't wish. Um, because your thoughts manifest in the physical world really fast. So if you ever see the 1111 or 111, if you ever see it like on your phone or on the clock or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
um it says here that it means that the universe has taken a photo of your thoughts and it's trying to manifest them in the physical.
Oh. Oh, okay.
So the question you have to ask yourself is, are you pleased with the thoughts that the universe has captured in that photo? So if you think of it as a photo, like, um, are you going to be pleased with what that photo shows?
Okay.
And if not, then you have to correct your thoughts.
Okay.
You can ask angels or whoever you believe in, uh, you can ask them to help you with controlling your thoughts or money supervising your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another aspect of the number 11. Let me see if there's anything else. So yeah, I remember this part. Apparently, the number 11 in your karma is one of the most difficult to overcome. So if in your past lives you had the opportunity to awaken consciousness in others and you didn't, then that is that is karma that will be affecting you today. You need a lot of love, a lot of love from you to others to overcome all of that. You need a lot of faith and have unconditional love as much as you can.
Okay.
Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, so when I told you that you're a mirror person, persona espejo, your internal and your external is the same. You're a very authentic person. People can trust you. What you feel, what you think, and what you say is the same. If you're happy, people notice, and you're sad, people notice as well. So you can't hide who you are, and you're actually a really good partner because of that, whether it's a business partner or a love partner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, I think that's all I have right now for the number 11. Any other questions that may have come up?
Not yet.
Okay.
I think, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. So let's go to your gifts. You are the number 10 in your gifts and your talents that God gave you for this lifetime. Okay. Hmm. You'll be happy to know that you're a hyper artistic person, and the 10 says that.
Mm-hmm.
The number 10. So the number 10 is like a supercharged number 1. The number 1 is like it's a singular, it's a singularity. It's the person that starts things. The number 1 only thinks about himself. Very creative individual, because it's basically it's the creator. um and through their individuality they break paradigms. So that's number 1. Number 10, like I said, is a supercharged number 1. What we add to that I just told you, is that while the number 1 is a solitary person, the number 10 is a leader of masses, of big groups of people. Number 10, their spiritual memory has been erased, but they can easily bring it back by hearing themselves, by listening to themselves, listening to their own intuition, listening to their own heart. But in order to do that, you have to go inside, you have to go inward, you have to either meditate or pray daily, listen to yourself, practice. So one of the things I do, and I've been doing lately, is that every time I have a thought about something lately, I just act on it. It could be as dumb as exit right here instead of like the next exit that Google is telling me. Or
Mm-hmm.
something is nagging that I just need to go see my cats because something, and so I go see my cat. I don't question it anymore. I used to always try to get out of that. I always would question everything. That's because that's how society and our family conditions us to be. And
Mm-hmm.
so you can practice that and just see what kinds of results it gives you in your life. If you just have this sudden thought out of nowhere where you say, "Oh, I thought about this person. Let me contact them." Just do it and see what happens. You
Okay.
will be able to measure what is it exactly that is guiding you, based on the results that you have. I don't know if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense, but I just noticed through years of not listening to myself that when I do listen, it's like, oh my God, we are connected. We are connected to this,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. I don't even know what it is. It could be, in my mind, I see it as like a net of
Mm-hmm.
invisible threads. I think
Mm-hmm.
theory called there's a theory called either invisible thread or invisible something. And so so the way I see it in my mind is that when I respond to those sudden thoughts or sudden ideas, it's like I get pulled into one of those threads and I'm
Mm-hmm.
traveling through that thread. And it's like an intelligent thing. I don't know how to explain it.
No,
But
I told a friend that the other day where I was like kind of telling her that we were saying like you can say anything and I will still love and trust you and like forgive you. Like you can have a different opinion on this. And I told her like the way that I see our friendship is like we are tethered forever and in this like weird invisible like bungee rope thing. And so like even if like you're really far away and I don't talk to you for a while, like that is still there. So like, but in my head, that's how I see it.
yeah,
But because that makes complete sense what you're saying. Like that's
yeah,
I was just thinking about something like that the other day.
yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So, you can develop that with no classes or anything. You can just do it
Mm,
yourself.
okay.
Okay, let's go deep into the number 10. These are your gifts. So for the number 10, I'm only gonna read the positive aspects. And also let me get some water. Give me one
Oh
second
yeah.
because I'm like so thirsty. One
I'm
second.
gonna turn my fan off.
Okay. So your gifts that you came to use. These tools, these gifts are what's going to help you with your karma. So the number 10 is the energy of the sun. It is love, wisdom, and strength. So what this means is that number 10s have a lot of courage, and that's their main tool, their main skill. So when something needs to get done, when people are trying to organize a task, you would usually be like, I can do it. I can do that. Let me take care of that. That is that is their courage to take action. Um, they were actually born to, let me see how I can say this. Yes. So they were born to organize things, organize the energy around them with strength and decision to benefit others and themselves. I know that this sounds a little elaborate and complicated. It sounds to me anyway. But you are able to, when it comes to energies, if there's a situation where the energy is not right, you have the capacity to correct that so that it benefits you or others around you. Um, I think this ties onto the capacity to resolve problems or be a mediator, which is part of your soul, of your essence. Um, so I think you have the vision. You look at a situation and you can spot where things are failing, and you have the capacity to rearrange that energy so that the situation changes. Um, you may be able to spot on others where they're failing at. It's almost like, and I don't know if you're very vocal or not, but at least inside of you, you can spot where somebody's going wrong and why. And not it's not necessary that you tell them, but um it's definitely a skill that you have. Now, number 10 is the symbol of love, and it is the symbol of beings that created the affirmation I am. So
Mm,
10 equals I am.
mm,
What happens is that whatever you say that you are, you can manifest. So before we talked about that your thoughts will really come into reality and that you have
mhm,
that ability, well, the 10 definitely solidifies this. You have to be very careful with your thoughts. If you say, oh no, I'm always struggling with this, you will always struggle with it, because whatever you say you are, you will be.
mhm,
Um, you have a lot of light that feeds and feeds others, and it feeds as in feed FEED.
mhm,
Alimentan a otros.
mm, mhm,
Tu luz fortalece y alimenta y engrandece a otros,
mm.
right? Um, audaces. Do you know the word audaces?
No, actually, that one I don't.
Yeah, I'm trying to translate it in English. Let me just see here. I have Google here.
Oh, that's
English, let me translate it. Bold. Okay. I guess the word is
oh,
bold or intrepid. It's somebody without fears. Okay.
oh, okay.
So the number 10, they're very clear, very precise. They have a lot of energy. It's the energy of the sun. They trust themselves. So this is what God gave you. God gave you this light that strengthens and feeds others. God gave you courage. He gave you the ability to not be afraid. He gave you the ability to be bold and clear and precise. And he gave you the ability to manifest whatever you say you are. You inspire a lot of respect, very responsible, very efficient. You give 100% at work and to others. You always fulfill your goals. There's no fear. You brighten any place where you're at. You're the sun. You're an endless source of energy and light. And you have the gift of art and writing. Very
Mm.
creative. And so let's try to relate this with your karma. Let me just go back really quickly, because this is what will help you. So, mhm. Okay. One of the important things that we talked about is that the 11 in its negative vibration, makes you afraid of your own power and your own light. The number 10, you already have the gift inside of you to not be afraid of any of that. So you just have to put it into practice. You do have
Mm,
the courage, so use it.
mm,
Uh, if you have been afraid in your life in terms of financial fears, economical fears, go back to I can I will be whatever I want to be. So go back to straightening your thoughts
mm,
and use that fearlessness. If you're ever afraid of what people say about you, go into your light. You're the sun. And no matter how, because I sense from you, from the very little that we have interacted, I can definitely see that calm and that sort of like serene. So the sun
mhm,
and that energy, you may think that it just doesn't go, but it goes.
mm,
Fearlessness doesn't have to be loud. The bright
mhm,
sun doesn't have to burn everybody, you know what I mean? Like,
mhm,
so they are compatible. And let me see if there's any other gift from the number 10. Mm. So one of the ways when my numbers were read to me,
mm,
and they read my gifts, I was like, no, that's not me. That doesn't sound like me. And then I realized, no, wait, hold on. Actually, if I notice in these certain situations, I have been this way and things have worked out for me. So the other thing was that I have a number 8 in my gift, and the number 8 is about manifesting money in your life, something that I've always been like, I've always thought that I'm just not able to do that. And it's because of how I grew up and how my dad
mhm,
basically, we were supposed to get married, and so why show women financial information if they're going to get married, right? So I grew up
mm,
that way. But it was interesting that when they told me that the number 8 has 100% ability to make money without even worrying, I was like, oh my God, I'm free. I can set myself free from those beliefs that I used to have.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's up to you to take something and run with it if you want to, right?
mhm.
Okay. Any questions up until now about your gifts?
No, no, but my mind is feeling very bright and just thinking of like how I want to implement it, but no questions.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Okay. Um, okay. You are not okay. The fact that you do this is an important point of the number 10. The fact that you have a 10 in your chart, it means that you're also here to close cycles. So it's going to be very important for you that whatever you start, you finish it.
Mhm,
Um, if you have a project like forever, you just it's just right there, gathering dust. As soon as you can, take it out and finish it. If you've always wanted to do a certain activity or take a certain trip, find the time and do it. Like you have to, it'll te va a impulsar mucho
mhm,
every time you close a cycle. If you need to end a relationship, end it. If you need
mhm,
to go correct a relationship, go do it. If you have to ask for forgiveness to someone that you haven't for whatever reason, do it. If you have to forgive someone, forgive them. So when you don't close cycles, you're just going to be dragging them with you. And this is a very logical thing for any human being, but in you, because you have that number, it'll be even more important. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's enough of the gifts. Now we're going to go to your number 2. The way I see, I mean, you mentioned that you are learning about astrology, and the way I see um some of these numbers is the same as if you have your main sign and then you have like the rising, moon, Mercury, blah blah blah. And so that's how I view numbers other than your essence. Is like, yes, you are an 11, but all these other numbers complement you as well and make
Mm-hmm.
you unique. So let's look at number 2 for your mastery. All right. Number 2 is a number of duality. We have again, okay, so this quadrant means that in past lives you have already corrected about 70% of the number 2. You still have a few things to correct. Let me talk to you about the positive things that you have and you have mastered. That's why it's called mastery. Number 2 is a very feminine number, and they are very diplomatic. And again, here comes the word mediator.
Mm-hmm.
Mediator, you're able to arrange the energy around you to solve a problem. So if you are already very intuitive, this is why. It's because you have already mastered that part, or well, not mastered, but you have already gained mastery up to a point, not 100%, but up to a point. So number 2, very feminine, very receptive, which goes along with femininity, very intuitive, soft, loving, romantic, sensitive, um, very devotional and of service with their parents. They are excellent sons and daughters or excellent parents, depends on what you are. Um, Great partners, I had already mentioned this earlier, and very good disciples. So very good learners, very good at receiving instruction from others. Their gift is empathy, and they have the ability to connect with other people, allowing them to be very comfortable, very relaxed, and muy a gusto, to say it. And number 2s are welcome everywhere they go. They're very honest. Again, that word keeps repeating as well. They inspire a lot of trust, and they have this ability to be obedient.
Mm.
So all of these things you have already worked on, and that's why they're part of you. Mm. There are still a few things to work on, same as with the karma, which is this will connect with your other numbers. This is crazy. Um, they're psychic, but they tend to perceive painful things. They tend to perceive
Mm.
danger. And that is one of the reasons why they might be afraid of their own powers and their own intuition. It's because they may feel fear of the unknown.
Mm.
They also have fears here in the material world about losing their job, about losing money, about being separated from their loved ones. Very much afraid of death, and because of their sensitivity, they may be actually hypersensitive and very, very dependent. And so again, attachment is one of the things to work on as well.
Hmm.
Being able to go with the flow, to accept changes, to accept that nothing stays the same, and that you can still survive and thrive no matter what. They're gonna have to learn to create boundaries for the things that harm them.
Mm.
So yeah, so let's say if at work somebody's trying to cross the line, very, very important to set boundaries, no matter how much empathy you have or how sensitive and how peaceful you want to be, you still have to learn to always put boundaries that protect you. So let's recap this mastery number. You are open to intuition. You're a mediator, diplomatic, very loving, romantic, and sensitive, very disciplined. I didn't mention that. Empathetic, excellent sons, excellent or daughters, excellent parents or partners. And the ability to connect with anybody, allowing them to be comfortable and relaxed. The things that you still have to work on is attachments, not being afraid of your intuition or psychic abilities, and not being afraid of the our regular earthly fears: money, jobs, death, illness, and set your boundaries. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions about this?
No, but it all
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
So let's go then to our mission. Well, to your mission.
Mhm.
Um, your mission will be, okay. So this mission is just for this lifetime. This is what you were born here to do. Usually the mission is really good to know it by the time you're 35. Um, so it's the best because then you still have time to resolve it in this life. And it also gives you like, usually by this age you would have already gone through certain things in life, like whether it's marriage or having kids, or uh you've probably are stable in your job, etc. So around this age you start kind of like wondering, okay, is this all there is? What else am I supposed to do? You have already given yourself to others, to your family, to your career. Now, me as a person and an individual, what's next, right? For my soul. So, I believe you are gonna turn 33, or you
Yeah.
are, yeah, okay. I did,
33 November.
okay, I did my math right.
Yeah.
So you were right on time.
Okay.
And so when it comes to your mission, we talk about the negative aspect of the number six because these are the things that you came here to do. But I'm going to talk to you about both the positive and the negative, um just to give you like a more complete vision of it.
Mhm.
So give me just 1 second. Okay. Mhm. So, okay. Harmony. Number six is the number of harmony. It is a number of family and kids as well. So, you come, your mission right here is to recover your intuition. We go back to this concept. Recover your intuition and believe in God. Believe in something, right? Believe in what's in agreement with you, but I use the word God. Um, you basically need to be constantly connected to spirituality. Your whole chart says this. Whatever
Hmm.
you do, and then try to make sure that learn everything, but be very discerning as well.
Hmm.
Um, don't just accept even this that I'm saying to you. Don't just accept it with no judgment. Have discernment, and but always be connected to something spiritual. It'll help you in all the areas of your life. Um, for this, you're going to have to meditate. You're going to have to pray, one or the other, or both. You have to put your faith in something bigger than you, because otherwise, your ego will be too big and you will just lie to yourself. You will lie to yourself, and your mission is to reveal the truth behind those lies. Um, hold on, I'm formulating this in my brain. You're going to have so you're going to have to give you have to give power to your word. You have to do what you say, always comply with your commitments. Um, so be consistent. That's the word.
Hmm.
Consistency in your plans, in your actions, congruency as well. Be congruent. Um, your mission is to not live a superficial life. So live a life that has depth of love, depth of looking for spiritual teachings, even depth of action, meaning just take action in the things that you haven't, the dreams that you have. Don't hold back, don't stand by and any longer if you do. One of the things that you will have to overcome that will be, well, that is part of your mission is to not blame others for your, no culpes a otros de tus desgracias. So always try to look at you, even when someone harmed you directly, look at yourself and ask yourself why did I put myself in that position? What was my part in this? Did I allow this? Did I find myself not setting boundaries? Did I find myself perhaps distracted by other things and I didn't pay attention to this? So that is also part of your mission. And yes, eliminate dependency. This is repeating again. And
Hmm.
um, and this is an important one, is to not use relationships to affirm yourself or have an identity through those relationships. You have to be yourself in spite of. You have to be yourself separate from those relationships. You have to be able to stand on your own. Think of the number 10. Stand on your own. Um Prayer and meditation will help you with all of this. This is basically prayer and meditation will be your tool. It will be your gift. It'll be the way to connect to divinity. Um, it'll be the way to find yourself. It'll be the way also to stay humble. Let me look for more. And again, we go back to the word harmony, which is that of the number 6. If you achieve, no, let me say this correctly. It's not about achieving harmony, but it's about always looking for it. Okay, so it may not be. It's just that I always see us achieving our ultimate destination. I always see it as death. So that's why I say it's not so much about achieving harmony in the end. It's about looking for it throughout your life and constantly trying to be in harmony with everything. Everything in your work, in your relationships, with yourself, in your home. And you can look at this from any point of view, whether it's even as simple as harmony physically in your home with your things, but obviously also in relationships. And let me see if there's anything else about number 6. Mhm. Yeah, okay. Meditation, prayer, connection. Okay. Swing. Let me look at this now. Okay. Okay. That's it for number 6. Do you have any questions about your mission or your purpose?
No, I don't. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's then go to the other maps, the other
Yeah.
numbers. And okay. So 7, 6, 9, 10, 5, 7, 6. Okay. So let's go to your husband.
Okay.
So your husband has I won't do a full reading on who he is, but I'm just seeing the things that connect with you or important things to say about them.
Okay.
So he has a sequence. He has a 5, a 6, and a 7. And when we have that sequence of numbers, they are also about closing cycles. Give me 1 second just to find this. Números consecutivos, yeah. Mhm. Okay. Yes. So they are here to close cycles the same as you. It's important to see if they are procrastinators or if it's hard for them to be disciplined, then they need to know or mm, it'll be important for them to actually complete things, finish things, and everything that I told you. Like if they need to ask for forgiveness, go ask. If they need to end a relationship, go end it. If they need to, whatever it is, he also has that too.
Okay.
Um, Now, number 7 in his essence means a strong ego. I actually have that in my chart. So, so there is a strong ego that will need to be worked on. Let me tell. Because he has a powerful number in his essence. So they mhm. One second. Yeah, they have like a strong personality. It's hard to ignore them. They go into a room and they are noticed. They could be brilliant leaders, actually. And they can heal with their words, but the same way that they can heal with their words, they can destroy with their words.
Mm,
So they have to be careful with that. They can be very closed off and not show themselves very easily.
mm-hmm,
Um, so for them, it's very important to not lose their social connections and like be with friends, do things with other people because when they can become hermetic. Is that a word?
mm-hmm,
Yes. And and if they lose that contact with social activities or with people, then they can start accumulating karma that then they have to solve. So lots of people affect them and a lot of noise.
mm,
And they doubt their capacities as well. In their
mm-hmm,
negative vibration, they don't accept pleasure or love sometimes. So they need a lot of demonstrations of love from others.
mm,
But but because the 7 it's in his essence, in reality, he has a very strong aura. It's a, like I said, it's a powerful number. They have the gift of the word, so their words heal others. They like and they can have financial solidity.
mm-hmm,
They love to travel to exotic places. Mm, they're very compassionate and have
mm-hmm,
a lot of love for others, and they understand, like they understand the pain of others.
mm-hmm,
So a lot of empathy, very wise, and they can spot when somebody is deceiving them very easily. Okay, so that's him. When it comes to you, you guys relate with the number 10. You have it in your gift and he has it in his mastery. So this means that you both share the positive aspects of the number 10. Um, which is courage, is the energy of the sun, the the affirmation of I am. He's also able to define who he is by saying who he is. So he
mm,
has to be careful of his thoughts as well. And the thing is that 30% that he hasn't mastered when it comes to the 10%, you have it in your gift. So you are the one that can help him with that. So if he, for example, and I'm not saying it's the case, but let's say, for example, that in his negative vibration, he can be like indecisive, selfish, arrogant, or perhaps easily frustrated, perfectionist, self-destructive, um, fear of taking risks. If all of these things, if any of these things he has in his personality, you have the gift to help him with that. Because you, with your light, you can strengthen, you can feed others and make them feel greater than they feel. And with your courage, he can learn from that as well. So, mm, if he if he is able to repress himself a lot, which is a negative aspect, then you can get him out of that.
Mhm.
You can help him with that, with your love, with your energy. So that's in just like a little introduction about him. Let me see his number 5, just in case it's helpful, which is his gift. Let's see. So he came here to, okay. One of the, because he has the 5 in his mission, sorry, not his gift, his mission. Um, he comes here to work on let's see how I can say this. He has to learn the word sacrifice and be able to choose one thing from the other. He can't have it all. He has to choose. That means that these people could be prone to vices, eating too much, drinking too much, smoking too much, any what I call habit of the flesh, which sounds very Catholic, but any problem of the flesh, he has to overcome. So yeah, he can be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a family and I'm gonna have all of this, but I'm also going to overeat and damage my health, or overdrink and damage my relation, whatever it is. So he has to learn to choose. That is one of his purposes or missions from this life. Also, number 5 needs to look good to feel good. So if they don't think they look good, they will not be okay with themselves.
Mhm.
So that is very important. Okay, that's him. Any questions about him?
Uh, I did have a question, then I forgot it. So maybe I'll come back to it, but I don't remember.
Oh,
But
okay,
no,
okay. Yeah,
yeah.
no problem. We'll have time at the end and we can talk more in depth if
Okay,
you have a question. Okay. Now, let me go then to the ex-boyfriend.
for
So
sure.
you guys share, he's also a mirror person. So he also is transparent and authentic. He also, like, whatever he shows on the outside is what he has on the inside. Um, he has karma with his mom. I don't know if that's true, but it
I,
shows.
I think so.
So let me tell you about that because I did make a note specifically. to touch on this topic. It's a 29. Yes. So when they're born on the 29, they have karma with their mother. So they come to work on patience and tolerance with their mom,
Oh.
and they have to give and share specifically with their mother. Um, that's because of the 29. Then, so the same, so he has the same soul and the same challenges as you do. So in that way, you relate to each other.
Hmm.
Um, it doesn't mean anything. It's very common to think sometimes that because you share a certain sequence of numbers that, oh, that means maybe it's my twin flame or anything. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means he's also a mirror person and he has the same essence as you do and the same karma. That's it. Um, now he has a number 3 as his mission. So you actually, other than that, you don't share any other number. So it's not like you can help each other out directly because of the numbers. Um, but let me tell you about his mission. It's number 3. Okay. And his mission is to achieve independence.
Mm.
Yes. It's a lot more straightforward than the mission that I was telling you about your number 6. So in his life, I'm gonna tell you the negative aspects of the number 3 because these are things for him to overcome. They can be elitistas, elitists.
Yeah,
Elitist,
elitist.
yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Hmm.
Racist, depressive, they can be liars, they can have an oh God, sentimiento de inferioridad.
Hmm.
Oh, complex.
Inferiority complex.
Yes.
There we go. Inferioridad. There we go.
Inferioridad, yeah.
Yeah.
But they can be intolerant, they can isolate themselves and not have any friends. They are very dramatic. They tell stories that aren't true, like nobody loves me, for example. They can say, oh, nobody loves me. And it's just like drama. And also, it's a lie. I'm sure it's a lie.
Hmm.
And so, one of the missions that they have is that they have to achieve being able to look at others as equal, that he's not better than others, that he's equal. So that's one of his missions in this life. So they may have problems with hierarchies or with authority figures.
Hmm.
They're not very good bosses or professors because they have trouble distinguishing rankings and positions in a chart. Yeah, when they get depressed, they may say to themselves that nobody loves them. So their mission is to be independent, see equality in others, be loving and be fair. But the most important thing I think in his case is the karma with his mom.
Does that mean that he's always trying to be better with her or like needs to be better?
So it is possible. Let me go to that page again. So if that's what happens to him, where is not so much that he neglects his mom, but he's trying to find approval through her or try to please her, then that's still karma with his mom. And so he's gonna have to work on the opposite of what is happening. So if he is actively trying to find approval or appreciation, then he has to work on being independent from that. But if he has the karma where he just doesn't pay attention to his mom or doesn't tolerate her or just doesn't understand her, he has to work on having patience and tolerance with her. Um, it seems like the relationship with his mom may directly affect other positions in his chart, and that's why it's like it's an important aspect to point out. So yes,
Okay.
the way I have it here is more as if he's the one that is not giving to her, but regardless, he does have the independence issue, and whatever the situation is, he just has to do the opposite.
Okay.
Unless he has a great relationship with his mom, and that just means he has already overcome that problem. And it's
Okay.
possible. I don't know, because I don't know how old he is. Well, I can assume. Yeah, okay, he's 44, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so maybe he already overcame that with her, but that's what shows in his chart. And then, okay, let me grab some more water and then we'll go with your mom.
Okay.
Okay. So, any other questions about him though?
No.
Okay. Mom, 18/6/1958. Okay, so she also has, so the 7 and the 9 in the essence chart also indicates a strong ego. Let me look for that. Yeah. So the karma quadrant, which in her is a number 6, and you have a number 11. Your husband also has the same karma as your mom. So
Mm-hmm.
strong ego. Okay, give me 1 second. This is, yes. So the quadrant of the karma, it's also the quadrant of the ego. So when I say that she has a strong ego, is that we're going to look at the negative aspect of the number 6 and multiply it by 2. So
Mm-hmm.
um let's talk about her karma and then we'll talk about her soul. So she also has a sequence of numbers. She also comes to close cycles. Closing cycles would be very important for her. She has
Mm-hmm.
2 instances of closing cycles. She has 4, 5, 6, which is the sequence, and then the 5, sorry, the 9 in her chart is also of closing cycles. It'll be very important for her to forgive or ask for forgiveness or finish that project or take that trip or just don't leave anything undone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, so the number 6 is very territorial.
Mm.
I mean, we already talked about it with your husband, but let me add more, even more things. So they can be very territorial. If they don't believe in God, that will create problems for them. She can lose her intuition, be codependent, be afraid, anxious, like they can't meditate, they can't pray, they have to put their faith in God or they're going to have a big ego. They have to
Mm-hmm.
understand that it's not just them that achieve things, is there are other forces working to help them. And so humility and being humble is a it's a big way of counteracting this ego part. um if she doesn't, well, in the negative aspect, they don't fulfill their commitments, they can be very confusing. um
Mm-hmm.
like they say yes, but then, oh, better not, or like a última hora they're like, oh, siempre no, dijo mi mamá que siempre
Mm-hmm.
no."
Mm-hmm.
So, they can lead a superficial life, and they may need a lot of, what's the word, like stimulation and adoration. They may need
Mm-hmm.
that from others in their negative aspects, and they really suffer a lot when they don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
When their expectations are not met, they suffer a lot. And also, like I said with your husband, um they tend to see other people as the ones responsible for their misfortunes. So, yes, they can be dependent, fanatical, gossipy, like talk a lot of gossip. They may do things to look good in front of others or
Mm-hmm.
look good with authority figures. But inside they're like, they think something else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And in their in their romantic relationships, they always suffer and they feel not understood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They can be masochistic as well. So this is the karma that she comes to fix. It may be that she already fixed it or not, or you know, I don't really know. But let's talk a little bit about her soul, which is what you have. No, sorry, that's not you, it's your husband. Your husband has, her soul is his gift. But with you, the important thing is that her mission is your essence and your karma. That's how you relate to her. And then her karma is your mission. This is crazy. So your guys' karma and mission are intertwined.
Uh-huh.
Your mission is her karma. So what does that mean? That means that you can help her in her resolving her karma.
Uh-huh.
Um, when you, hold on 1 second. This is number 7. This is number 6. Okay. So for, I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say, let's say that, 1 second. This is a negative right here. And you have it as this is a mission. Yes. Let's say, for example, that she is um dependent, um fanatical. Your it's just an example. Your the balancing of your spiritual world and your material world can help her see what that looks like. And so it can help her not go all the way towards one side of the spectrum when it comes to spirituality. Um, this is just an example. Now, let me give you another example. So let's say, for example, she is very skeptical or an atheist, or she doesn't have a connection with God. You, in your mission of deepening your spiritual practice, will, you don't even have to tell her. It'll just show in who you are, and she will see that through you. So that's the way the mission and the karma can help each other.
Hmm.
Now, let me tell you a little bit about her essence, just so that you have that reference for her. So, in her essence, her soul, her internal self, um, she's the number 9, which are super, super intelligent people. They are the problem solvers of the world.
Hmm.
Um, they give, they give with no expectations of getting anything back. They're very generous, very compassionate. They are the philanthropers,
Hmm.
philanthropos, and very humanistic. And because they are very constant at they can be very constant at something. It doesn't matter what, like just one thing, they can become masters of that thing.
Hmm.
So let's say she just cooks all the time, every time she just cooks, then she'll become a master of that. Or let's say she's generous all the time, she becomes
Hmm.
a master in that. They also perceive the essence of God in everything.
Hmm.
They're very sensitive, they're very constant in their relationships and in their work. Um, they are able to go into a situation and not be rattled. Like let's say there's an emergency situation and they can go do what they need to do without flipping out.
Hmm.
And yeah, again, she came to close cycles. They're very wise and very profound, very observant of what's around them and other people. And they're aligned with very high principles. They can see the hand of God in everything. So that's her soul. So you see how her soul and her karma seem so opposite, right?
Hmm.
And yet when it comes to you, your soul and your karma is just the same aspect but mirrored. So
Hmm.
you don't have to pull too much, you don't have to learn too much of other things to overcome your karma, but your mom will have to really learn and use her gifts to connect to this beautiful aspect of her soul and work on the negative aspects of the karma.
Hmm.
Let me tell you really quickly what her gift would be. Yeah, the gift of service,
Hmm.
discipline, very hard worker, very um practical. Practical discipline. They're like the rock.
Mm-hmm.
They're very constant, very well organized, punctual, um, trustworthy, and they have a great connection with nature and the elements. So any of those negative things that I told you, she will overcome with her discipline, perseverance, being constant, being aligned, looking for stability, and by being connected with nature and the elements like fire and water and air. Okay. And yeah, I mean, her mission in this world is very intertwined with who you are. So her mission is to elevate other people's consciousness and be a constant example of spiritual life, being humble and trust her intuition. And you can help her with that by developing your soul essence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's it for the reading. Um, but let me know your thoughts. Do you have questions or any confusion? Um,
I wanted to go back. Let me look really quick.
mhm.
So for me, I have like the two opposites in that well, not the opposite, but I I do have an attachment that I am trying to break, and I'm realizing that is there's like a lately especially I've been learning to trust myself, and one of the things I recognized was the attachment thing was like a very big deal. It's been holding me back.
Yes.
Um, so I'm learning to trust my intuition. I realized like before too often that I knew something and I chose not to pay attention to it. And then years down the line, I was like, oh, that's why.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
And the attachments are,
yeah.
uh, I'm I'm a person that has suffered from attachment problems my whole life. I get
Mm-hmm,
attached to everything, including
mm-hmm,
like my job or certain people, or it is very hard to break, but
mm-hmm,
at the same time is not. All you need is decision. And
mm-hmm,
decision, it was part of one of your numbers. I think it
mm-hmm,
was part of the 10, which means that is your strength, is your gift. So like courage and decision is your gift. You can do it. You
mm-hmm,
don't have to think too much about it or analyze it or get years of therapy about it. You just have to
mm-hmm,
make the decision as much as it hurts.
mm-hmm,
And it feels very counterintuitive to do that, but you have it in you. You just need to go through with it. And you'll see life changing and starting to adjust to this change and freeing you from it.
mm-hmm.
So it's as it can be as simple as that or as complicated as that. Because for some people
Yeah.
it's very complicated. I remember um I wasn't able to understand the concept of letting go for years, and people here use it all the time. It was just something that I never heard back home in Mexico.
Mhm.
So like
Mhm.
here, people, oh, just let it go, just let it go. And I'm like, how? What does that even mean? What are the
Mhm.
instructions to let something go? Uh,
Mhm.
and it's letting something go is basically go against what your heart desires
Mhm.
and just do what feels uncomfortable to do, whether it's blocking someone or just moving away or whatever represents letting go of that attachment. You just have to do it as much as it hurts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
This came at a really good time. Because the part of me, you also mentioned something of like I'm loving as much as I can or being unconditional with love. Um and that sometimes part of me is like, oh, I think the kind thing is to like forgive, but maybe in a sense it is, but also like I'm not doing the other half, which is the detachment part, which has
Right.
been very difficult.
So
Yeah.
that is the problem with unconditional love is that people confuse it with you can step all over me and I'll still love you. Like, no, no.
Mm-hmm.
Unconditional love is also means to let people go so that they can fulfill their own journey without, like, when they are harming you, they are not fulfilling their whatever their destiny is or their purpose, or they're not even,
Mm-hmm.
any high spiritual expectation. They're just not fulfilling it. So you have to be unconditional and be like, I forgive you. Whatever you did, it's done. I'm freeing you to go live your life, do whatever it is that you need to do. But
Mm-hmm.
it is not one of your numbers was no, well, it was your mom's, but I think it goes with you because well, yeah, it's in the 11 was that having high principles. When you have
Mm-hmm.
a high principle, which means I'm not going to live in the filth and the drama and the uh, because I have a high spiritual principle in my life, then you can let people go and still love them unconditionally from afar, from afar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
mhm,
And the what you said about the intuition thing really, again, really resonated. So much of what you said of the mirror thing.
yes.
Um, yeah, it kind of has provided me right now, like where it's coming through in my head. It's clarified a lot. And I
Mhm.
know you said also to not pay attention, not to follow exactly what other people are telling you, but in a way that's really clarified what to do moving forward of like trusting myself with what I was thinking I needed to do.
Right.
I should be doing that.
Yeah, yeah. And so there's this quote that I used to when I was younger, I used to put it in my emails. That I think it's attributed to Buddha, but I don't know. But it says,
Uh-huh.
trust no one, not even me. Follow your own, your own. Let me look it up, but so I can tell it to you.
Okay.
Which I just believe nothing. It says, believe nothing, no matter
Ah.
where you read it or who said it, no matter if I have said it, unless it agrees with your own reason and your own common sense. So that's what I
Mm,
meant by at the end of the day, like I wouldn't want someone to follow something like this blindly.
mm-hmm.
You will know the things that resonate with you and the things that don't. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to trust in that. And because you will be in a spiritual path, because I can tell that I think you will be, then
Mm-hmm.
that is the discernment that you need. You just need to be able to stand on your own
Mm-hmm.
and filter the teachings that are not for you and accept the ones that are for you and go from there. Hmm.
Okay. Okay. And then meditation. That's the big one.
Yes, meditation and prayer. or one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Those are practical things that you can do in your day to day to not lose that connection with your spirituality, and also to ground yourself and to find that balance between, because you're someone that can connect on both levels, but
Mm-hmm.
you need to like find a balance where you're not highly in the clouds or down, at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
without thinking, just being of the earth and not paying attention to your divinity. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you. This is a lot, and I took pages of notes.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'll send you the I will send you the recording. Let me stop it right now. Uh,
Okay.
and